That's the thing about singing. When you're singing, you're breathing. It's so good to take that oxygen in and to pick up some emotion and to bring the oxygen out and to take the emotion out with it. It's marvelous. Highly recommended. Hi, hello, hi, my name is Arlene Bishop. I'm a performing singer-songwriter, and I am also a newly diagnosed autistic person with ADHD, and I'm here in my studio exploring what it means to be an artist on the spectrum. Yeah, so this is a video that's going to be unscripted, like all of my videos. I try to script them. You know what? I try to write these ideas, and I write paragraphs, and I write pages, and then I try to remember what it is that I said, but I can't. I just want to talk about what it is that I want to talk about. And today, I want to talk about being a creative person, because that's what I am. To my very core, I make art. Yeah, art is a super subjective thing, and I open myself to criticism using that term. But you know what? I have opened myself to criticism for almost 40 years now. I've been writing songs and performing publicly since I was 21, and I just turned 60. So that's a long time. It's a long time to be making music. So I've recorded a whole bunch of albums under my name, Arlene Bishop. A bunch of albums. How many albums? You know what? I should probably know this. No, I should actually know this. Of course I should know this. There's an album called, there's Pinky, Snarky Girlpop, Cut a Man's Heart Out, 24 is 12 times twice, or 25, or 24 for short. Together Tonight, Live with the Spirit of Adventure. The Bootleg from 1992, Thank You Jimmy Scopus, Live from the Cabana Room. And the most recent, Coping Mechanism. I make seven albums. 7 albums, and I've written probably 4 screenplays. One screenplay, the very first, was a Fringe Festival production, and it was quite successful, called Joan of Montreal. And I wrote it with 3 other people, and had a marvelous experience. And that's the whole point to all of this, is having marvelous experiences. Yeah, that's why I have always done it. I've always done it to amuse myself, to express myself, to console myself, to connect with others. Because it's always been the experience of doing. Of course, I also made videos. I was the subject of videos. I have been in music videos where there's been a big production team around me and the band, and we've performed, and that was not my favorite thing, I gotta tell you. That's not my favorite thing. What I always experienced there was this phenomenon called just be yourself, Arlene. I always have trouble. Just the instruction to be myself in a video. I didn't know. I don't know what that means. When I perform live in front of an audience, I am myself. I can't not be myself. Like, it just happens. It just happens. That's my favorite time, is being on stage and performing. But then I started making videos, other kinds of videos to support my music. When I started producing myself with 24 and with Together Tonight, and with, not with Jimmy Scopus because that was a bootleg. So that was just fun for the people who were around in those days, and for me, and to appreciate the guy who booked the venue, Jimmy Scopus, R.I.P. Jimmy. What was I talking about? And then the last one, coping mechanism. Making videos about that. So let's talk about, this is really, I know this sounds like it's really egotistical as I'm saying it, which is one of my problems, one of my challenges. When I had my assessment, right, and they look at what you're good at, what you're not good at, and whatever, I can't remember the terminology. So I am good at making the stuff. Yeah, I love making the stuff. I love the process of it. I love being in the studio. I've been in big studios. I've been in big, expensive studios recording. Great experience. Lovely experience. I've co-written with other people. Not my super favorite experience, but in the studio, co-writing live to record a song, that's fun. That's fun. That's a fun experience. What was I talking about? I've been in the studio. The process. That was what I was talking about. Making the videos. The process. Filming stuff. Fun. Editing. Fun. Right? Writing songs. Fun. Singing. Fun. Performing. Fun. It's all about fun. And that's how I found out that I'm autistic. I couldn't have fun anymore. And even though it's a lifetime of therapy, exploring why I would, it seemed like, fall into these depressions, I couldn't do anything to get out of them other than do nothing. And doing nothing as a creative person is really not good for me because I need to express myself. Not because I want other people to hear it, although I do love it when other people hear it and it connects with them. I love that. I have met some of the very best people. Actually, I would say the best people in my life I've met through making art with them or in front of them and then connected with them and then made art with them. And yeah, my best connections are through art. And when I don't do stuff, I go to a really dark place. There's no point for me to be on this earth if I don't do creative things. Yeah, it's my life's purpose to make art. My life's purpose is to make art. So during the pandemic, remember that time? Well, here in Canada, to keep the numbers down and to keep the illnesses and the deaths to a minimum, which we did, we had lockdowns. We had rolling lockdowns, which meant that all the businesses closed down. Everybody worked from home if they could. If they couldn't, they received unemployment from the government, which supported us during that time. And we stayed home for months at a time, months and months at a time. So there was no performing then. There were no tours, there were no gigs, there was no going into studios, there was no co-writing, there was no meeting up with other people, there was no doing open mics or having a show at the local place, no booking tours, everything was canceled. Now for me, I had already been having trouble getting myself out there because I was already in what turns out to be a burnout. But when the lockdowns started happening, actually I took that as fuel. That was good for me to not have the requirements of going out and seeing people, which for some reason had always been challenging before, but was really challenging. Maybe because years before, I long ago gave up alcohol and drugs, so I didn't have those crutches anymore to help lubricate me in social situations. There was just me. So it was just me being me. That's all I could do. So during the lockdowns, I got this great opportunity to record at home. Even though there were other people in the house with me, and it's really hard to make stuff when other people are around. I find it's hard to make stuff when other people are around. I like privacy. Especially when I'm making music, I really need privacy. But I got this recording software, the cheapest I could afford. And I set up my studio, which I had set up as a studio before, but not as a recording studio. I had some microphones. I started learning the software. I started practicing. I made a silly meditation. And it was when I was making the meditation that I noticed that I really I couldn't sing. I couldn't make my voice do what I can normally make my voice do. And I thought it's because of everybody's at home. That's probably what it is. I'm too self-conscious with other people here. But I thought I'll get over it and I could just write. I'll write the songs. I love the lyrics. I love the poetry of lyrics. I always thought, I'll be one of those wildly successful poets. One of those, commercially popular poets. Very, wealthy from my poetry. But I couldn't write anything. I couldn't stand to hear what it was that I wanted to talk about. Everything I started writing about was the most boring, ridiculous, pointless stuff. I couldn't abide what I was writing. So I didn't really have anything to sing, and I didn't want to sing. I couldn't make my face make words come out. So now I understand what was going on. Now I understand that what I was experiencing was selective mutism. Isn't that wild? I could still talk with my family and communicate, but creatively and singing-wise, I couldn't do it. And that's a big part of who I am, singing, for me. But I continued to record, and I just started making these songs, which eventually became the album, my most recent album called Coping Mechanism. That's the music that I put underneath my videos. Those are tracks from Coping Mechanism. They're all lyricless. Well, no, that's not true. One song has lyrics. And some of the songs, almost all the songs, have some kind of vocalization, which I discovered on a track I wrote called, ended up calling it Satan's Meltdown. Because I was freaking out. I was at home. I was under headphones, to save my family from hearing me bashing away trying to figure out how to make this recording software work. And I got to a point in the song where I just needed to vocalize, so I grabbed the microphone, I plugged it in, and I vocalized. And all these feelings came out. And I thought, wow, that's fun. And cathartic. Yeah. And kind of scary. Kind of scary at how powerful it was to just open my face and let the vocalization come out. So then I continued writing, adding vocalizations to most of the other songs that I wrote. So they're mostly instrumental with some vocalization because I was mute lyrically and singing words. I couldn't do it. Isn't that wild? I think that's wild. But I got, I've got a whole how and why I got diagnosed video somewhere. Maybe I'll link it in the comments. Long story short. Once I made all these songs, I still didn't feel like I was satisfied. So I gathered up video that I had already shot. I shot a little bit of new video, and I started putting pictures to music. It was another way of being creative and getting my scene out of my head and out into the world. Very satisfying. And then when I put it all together, I called it coping mechanism. At the time, the pandemic had been declared gone. And no, it wasn't declared gone. You know what it was declared. It was declared we have to do business, and so let's pretend it's gone. So I really wanted to get back out into the world and be a musician again and go to people's shows and play shows and see people and collaborate. And when I went out, I was falling apart. I was freaking out, falling apart. I couldn't do it. I couldn't reintegrate back into society. And my brain was being really mean to me. My brain was just being relentless with criticism. And so I talked to my doctor, and we talked about me getting assessed for whatever was going on. And during that process, I found out that I'm autistic. And then a little while after that, I found out that I have ADHD. And that really explained so much. And what else did it explain about me being an artist? That I love the process. I really enjoy the process. I love being inspired. That's my ADHD. I love being inspired. And I love the process. That's my autism. I love the ideas. I love the execution. I love the expression. And I love being able to let that energy out of me. That's how I stim. I stim with music. Coping mechanism is full of stimmy melodies. I had so much fun making that record. And other albums in the past, those are my vocals. I'm totally stimming as I'm singing. I love it. I love to sing. It's very regulating for me. So the process I love. So on the graph, I'm up here. I'm up here with the process. And then I make the record, and then I'm supposed to do these other things. I'm supposed to do these other business things. Right? I stopped getting record deals and distribution deals and that kind of stuff because it's too much. It's too much. I just want to make the music. I don't want to flog the product. That part doesn't interest me. I do enjoy interviews sometimes, talking about myself. If I don't mask too much, it can be a lot of fun. But there's a lot of pressure in interviewing. And there's a lot of pressure in criticism, right? To be a creative person and to make things, to make music, to make videos, to make art, to paint, to draw, to photograph, and to put it out there in the world and have everybody and his brother tell you what's wrong with you is a really weird way to live. I'm not crazy about the criticism. I don't like constructive criticism. Constructive criticism can bite me. It's just criticism. Yeah. I have been invited a number of times to be on these kind of panels, these songwriter panels at conferences where you listen to somebody's demo and then 4 people up on stage, me being one of them, tells them what's wrong with their demo. That's not me. My answer to almost everything that I would hear is, right on, good for you, keep going. Do you have any specific questions that I can answer? Because it's not up for me to judge how somebody else does their art. If I don't dig their art, that's fine. I don't need to buy it. I don't need to go to it. I don't need to participate in it. But I don't need to be rude. I don't need to shut somebody down. I don't need to discourage somebody. I'm not the arbiter of what art is. Oh, look at me, I'm all revved up. I should breathe. Take a minute to breathe. That's the thing about singing. When you're singing, you're breathing. It's so good to take that oxygen in and to pick up some emotion and to bring the oxygen out and to take the emotion out with it. It's marvelous. Highly recommended. Yeah. So being creative. I am creative all the time. When I'm not creative, when I don't express myself, when I don't create something, my world gets dark, my world gets small. And I have no reason to carry on for very long if I'm not creating something. So I'm just going to keep creating stuff. Like these videos. I really enjoy making these videos. I know there's not very many of you out there. Those of you that watch these videos, thank you very much. I really appreciate you being here. I really appreciate you leaving a comment and a like. It's huge. When you do that, the algorithm picks it up and it shares it with other people so more people can see it. That's awesome. And that is the extent of my promotion. I don't care about promotion. I do care about being loved. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I do. I am needy. Am I needy? I'm needy. Maybe. Oh well, whatever. I am who I am. I'm learning to unmask and making these videos. These videos are the third component to my coping mechanism project, where I'm trying to figure out what my masks have been, because my masks have been making me unwell. They made me unwell in my mind, they made me unwell in my body, and they made me unwell. I try to think of a third thing because there should always be a third thing. I don't know what it is. Made me unwell in my hair. That's not true. My hair is fabulous. Right, okay. I guess I should wrap it up. This, another unscripted video. Why I do what I do. Why I did this right now. This thing. I hope it's okay. Oh, I should probably check the screen and make sure that I've actually pressed the record button. That would be awkward. Thank you very much for coming. I hope to see you again soon. You take care of yourself. I'm going to take care of myself. And let's take care of some other people along the way. Right? That's what we do. I'll see you soon.